That seat belongs real family leave immediately right now child my father never asked politely. Instead he forced my niece 9-year-old Zoe sideways her chair scraped loudly aside just clearing space. On table for towering designer shopping boxes bought proudly for my sister Zoe, staggered backward weakly her thin coat barely warm because he refused turning heat cold air filled the dining he stared down toward her like dirt across his floor, not like frightened little child her shaking never mattered him her fear, meant absolutely nothing he only wanted her gone so favored daughter gain space. More room for her presence Zoe tightly clutched worn leather case against fragile small chest, holding it like life raft inside rested grandfather's antique violin the final gift he left before dying. Quietly last year to others worthless broken instrument wood scarred varnish completely faded, but Zoe believed it magical weeks she practiced silent night dreaming softly of playing tonight for. Gathered family around table Thomas suddenly noticed the case his eyes narrowed slowly not curious simply irritated, instead that battered scuffed leather box to him ugly pointless clutter spoiling. Perfect holiday decoration vision. Get that garbage outside, he snapped with sharp irritation. We require space, wrapping paper. He never waited for response, he bent quickly, reaching downward, snatching. Case from tiny fingers, Zoe gasped, suddenly terrified, loudly, her hands clawed empty air. No, please stop, I yelled, jumping quickly from the floor. Dad, please, don't do that. He never glanced toward me with. Careless flicking motion wrist he hurled case toward fireplace landing atop glowing burning logs for one breath time, paused leather struck embers heavy dull then heat devoured brittle wood fire crept. Through ancient case I lunged forward desperately reaching my hand nearly touched great trying dragging it back before flames touched violin within, but Thomas stepped before me large body blocking. Narrow path forcing me backward roughly his shoulder slammed against mine sit down Grace. Immediately, he barked coldly irritated loudly stop acting ridiculously dramatic tonight it's merely useless. Firewood he guarded fireplace standing tall like watchman protecting sacred ground, a smug satisfied smile spread across his arrogant stubborn face, he believed teaching hierarchy lesson he assumed. Burning worthless lumber, but he misunderstood everything completely violins aren't simple wood, objects layers of varnish coat them chemicals lacquer seal every surface strings formed from synthetic. Fiber the chin rest hard plastic when flames crawled instrument sides, it didn't simply burn away instead surfaces melted horribly thick oily black smoke, erupted pouring violently from fireplace. Opening not gentle cozy winter smell instead burning rubber poison odor acrid fumes, slammed throats instantly eyes stung lungs tightening painfully, what exactly is that Jessica coughed waving hands. Frantically black smoke swallowed gift piles the ceiling smoke alarm screamed piercing rhythmic shrieks, echoed everywhere destroying last illusion holiday gathering toxic haze flooded the room so. Thick lights blurred dimly Christmas tree colors barely visible Thomas stumbled backward, choking loudly his eyes streamed burning tears open some window now, he shouted furious not fright. Ruining our dinner he blamed violin for everything he blamed choking smoke clouds, he blamed all this chaos, and finally blamed only me I watched through black haze he pressed napkin over mouth. Protecting precious sensitive lungs, carefully worried furniture might smell smoky, yet never cared he destroyed final memory his father gave something deep inside shattered not loud sudden explosive. Crack just quiet snapping inner wire 32 years of fear of anger judgment cold voice, suddenly vanished like drifting mist fires heat burned fear away, I stopped trying saving violin that moment. Already finished forever instead I grabbed Zoe's hand, she coughed violently crying hard tears streamed along pale cheeks terror filled wide frightened eyes, I pulled her crouching low under thick. Rolling smoke clouds we moved slowly toward doorway where are you going Thomas roared above alarm siren voice, roughened by choking smoke stay here help clean I offered no reply never turned once. Behind I opened the heavy door stepping outside frozen winter night snow silence roared loudly, after chaos raging inside behind us alarm still wailing a haunting cry broken family I guided Zoe toward. Car buckled seatbelt gently secure, then turned ignition key my hands stayed perfectly steady, no tears blurred my sight, instead calculations filled mind Thomas believed he had won because he controlled that house yet he failed understanding truth by burning that bridge tonight he ignited his own fuse toward slow devastating destruction, I drove quietly into darkness leaving black smoke settling. Everywhere inside curtains carpets breathing lungs the trap already prepared carefully now patience remained my weapon I drove, until smoke smell finally faded from upholstery fabric eventually. Reaching roadside chain hotel off lonely quiet highway bright fluorescent lights, humming old vending machines near lobby not home, but warm shelter I watched Zoe sleeping peacefully across second. Narrow hotel bed, her chest rose steadily, evening terror finally dissolving, exhaustion washing everything away. She appeared tiny, fragile there against stark white sheets. My father believed I weak only. Quiet, obedient Grace, daughter, lowering her head, always following every strict family rule. But he forgot important detail: what work I actually perform. I work professional risk auditor, not merely reviewing spreadsheets daily. I hunt lies hiding inside, tracing digital footprints quietly, unraveling complicated shell corporations, finding tiny decimal shifts where CEOs hide stolen millions. Humans lie numbers never. 6 months earlier numbers spoke, they revealed entire ugly truth. While reviewing family financial records, originally just routine tax work, I noticed strange discrepancy inside my education trust. Not tiny accounting mistake, it was enormous financial crater. 185,000 gone through single wire transfer exactly 5 years earlier. Tracing it proved simple: no hacking required whatsoever. Paper trail lay openly, arrogant, careless mistake. Thomas, he never invested money anywhere, no emergency loan either, instead wired entire amount straight toward mortgage lender, paying final balance. House, the same house tonight where he threw us out. I remembered that terrible year. Thomas lost savings, gambling scheme, guaranteed investment, actually Ponzi fraud. Fear gripped him desperately, terrified neighbors might notice for sale sign outside, so he devoured my future, just protecting his reputation image. When confronting him back then, he never denied anything. Instead laughed comfortably, relaxed, sitting inside leather armchair, swirling amber scotch. Slowly he gaslit me, smiling calmly. I sheltered you 18 years, Grace, remember that clearly. He waved dismissive, careless hand. That money belonged family. I secured our legacy. You should thank me, not question, audit me. He assumed matter finished, forever believing fatherhood erased theft, calling stealing resource reallocation. He trusted possession law since deed carried his name. He believed completely protected, yet he overlooked crucial detail: legal principle destroying men like him every year. It's named constructive trust. When stolen funds purchase asset, law says thief owns nothing, instead holds property temporarily, trustee for rightful victim, merely squatter. Inside investment, Thomas used my money, 185,000 buying equity inside that house, meaning equity wasn't his legally, it belonged me. I sat quietly, bed edge, watching distant city lights flicker outside dark hotel window, planning patiently next move. Thomas probably slept peacefully tonight inside his smoky, ruined kingdom, believing firmly he had triumphed because he alone held keys, but those keys meant nothing. They were already completely worthless. I never sued him cash, he was already financially ruined. Money would never return anyway, so I targeted deeper weakness. Straight toward his fragile jugular I aimed. Directly for house he believed tonight concerned. Violin, he never knew papers finished, he never realized documents signed, he never knew truth. He lived inside my house, borrowing time, unknowingly waiting for my eviction notice. I lifted thick duvet carefully over Zoe's shoulders. Thomas wanted territorial war, fine. I accepted challenge. Soon I'd prove clearly he fought upon borrowed ground, land he never owned. I understood questions coming. Everyone would eventually ask, why did you wait if theft discovered months earlier? 6 months earlier exactly. Why endure humiliation half year? Why tolerate insults longer? Why allow violin burning? Answer remains painfully simple. I understand Thomas perfectly. If confronted immediately, day missing money appeared, he would have exploded violently, playing wounded victim, loudly rallying family troops, quickly draining last remaining accounts, hiring lawyer far beyond means, just purely out spite. He'd stretch lawsuit endlessly, dragging battle, painful years bleeding both sides financially dry. Eventually house sold anyway, just covering endless legal fees. I'd win hollow moral victory, yet receive absolutely nothing. I never wanted apology, I wanted tangible asset. Specifically that house. To obtain it cleanly I required default judgment, meaning he must ignore lawsuit, fail entirely, responding legally, and making narcissist ignore requires special delicate strategy. You never threaten ego, you inflate it carefully, feed pride until choking. That was my method, quietly filing civil suit for stolen trust funds alongside petition constructive trust. I stayed completely silent, no sheriff knocking loudly that might awaken suspicion. Instead I hired specialist private process server, professional expert, subtle quiet deliveries. Tuesday afternoon, warm July. I parked discreetly down street, watching carefully through binoculars like sniper, awaiting moment. The process server arrived, driving ordinary plain delivery van, holding enormous golden gift basket, a flashy VIP hamper, Christmas in July theme, stuffed premium aged Scotch, Swiss chocolate, imported bars, and gourmet cracker selections. Thomas opened his door, he showed zero suspicion, instead he looked thrilled. Spotting shiny golden ribbon, assuming universe recognized greatness signature, Required VIP package, Sir Server politely explained, holding out digital tablet. Thomas, never read screen, he scribbled. Flamboyant signature, grabbed basket happily, then slammed door shut. That single signature instantly locked the legal trap. Legally, he accepted service, court summons hidden cleverly beneath cracker box. Packaging, I watched quietly outside through his living room window. He ripped basket open, popped open expensive scotch, laughing loudly satisfied, when thick manila envelope appeared resting at basket. Bottom, he never even opened, spotting formal legal letterhead. He scoffed dismissively, then tossed envelope casually straight inside recycling bin. To him, meaningless junk mail. Noise beneath his attention. That exact moment, victory happened inside audit strategy circles. We call this rope. When executive caught embezzling, you never stop immediately. Instead, you step backward, let them feel secure. Hand them enough rope, allowing them hang themselves. I gave Thomas rope exactly 6 patient months, watching carefully from distance. He burned final savings, leasing flashy luxury SUV completely. Unnecessary purchase, then hosted lavish anniversary party, celebrating himself extravagantly, paying catering enormous fees. Money meant defense attorney. Each dollar protecting ego became weapon against him. Money he wasted boasting, couldn't fight legal battle. Silence can become weapon. By remaining completely silent, I allowed belief victory. He assumed I remained the foolish, obedient daughter, unable. Read bank statements. His arrogance fueled everything. That arrogance became asset. Busy pretending castle king. He never noticed deadline, legal response ticking downward, slowly approaching final zero. 30 days earlier, clock ended. Judge granted default judgment. Ownership title transferred instantly. House placed under my name. Debt officially satisfied. Thomas unknowingly lived rent-free inside my property. Month, he believed manor lord. Truth, he squatted illegally, waiting quietly for sheriff. I rolled across hotel mattress, staring blankly toward ceiling. Smoke inside lungs stung, reminder of burned violin. Tonight he destroyed past, but he never realized I already foreclosed future. Christmas morning approached quickly, only hours still remaining. I closed tired eyes, sleeping deeply like baby war. Already quietly finished, he simply didn't realize he was already defeated. Christmas morning arrived, gray, heavy light seeping curtains. Beside me, Zoe slept curled, small, quiet ball, her breathing filled room. Only sound in silence. I sat upright, slowly checking glowing phone screen. 7 in morning display showed 12 missed calls, all from Thomas. He wasn't calling, apologizing, nor asking about granddaughter. Smoke inhalation, recovery, or trauma. Watching heirloom burn. He called wanting something. I swiped answering call. Speaker mode quietly enabled, volume lowered, carefully avoid waking Zoe. Nearby, finally Thomas's voice erupted through phone speaker, harshly, not relief, just irritation. Do you understand? Costs professional smoke cleanup requires during a holiday. Soot spreads everywhere. Grace covering expensive Persian rug, clinging thick heavy drapes. The odor absolutely unbearable. I stared silently, wall strange detachment surrounding thoughts. He discussed cleaning invoices while truth echoed mind. 30 days earlier legally, he stopped owning house. You're paying every cent, he continued, voice rising. Transfer money by noon. Also teach your niece handle toys more carefully. Clumsy. Exactly like you. He called violin toy. He called his arson a child's accident. Are you hearing me? He snapped sharply. I hear you. My voice remained steady, flat, calm, emotionless. I hear every word. Good then. Remember this, don't return here until money arrives. We're still trying salvage Christmas for Jessica. Today your drama caused damage. Then line disconnected, call abruptly ended. He believed issuing ultimatum, imagining himself powerful gatekeeper deciding castle entrance privileges. He never realized castle sold beneath his feet. While admiring own reflection, seconds later message arrived. Jessica texting angrily, you ruined everything yesterday, now house smells plastic, you owe dad apology. Their arrogance impressed, slightly demanding money confidently from woman holding deed. I glanced toward Zoe. Half awake, rubbing eyes, then typed simple reply, I'll arrive 10 o'clock. Thomas would assume begging, but assumption proved wrong. 5 minutes before 10, I parked driveway entrance, blocking his luxury SUV. Sheriff cruiser waited curbside. Sheriff Miller leaned calmly against hood, holding order. Thomas burst outside angrily, still wearing bathrobe, loosely coffee mug raised, impatient. Finally, he shouted, did you bring transfer? Then he noticed sheriff. His expression instantly froze. This writ possession, Miller explained calmly. You're trespassing property, now owner demanded removal. Thomas laughed loudly. This house belongs me. No, replied Miller. Property belongs Miss Grace. I recovered it, I calmly added, purchased using stolen money you took from me. He stared speechless, stunned. I'm your father and your landlord. His knees suddenly buckled. 15 minutes, Miller said. Inside chaos exploded, drawers slammed violently. Jessica stuffed handbags frantically into large suitcase. Thomas grabbed electronics Hurriedly ignoring framed family photos, at 14 minutes they stumbled outside breathless time. Already expired, I'm your father, he shouted desperately. Where should I go? I truly don't know, I replied. Evenly and frankly don't care. Jessica's Uber arrived. She threw luggage inside, driving away, immediately leaving him alone beside cardboard boxes. Many would call cruelty. They never smelled smoke, never. Watch child shiver in freezing room corner. This wasn't revenge, it was surgery. I opened windows wide, cold winter air surged, sweeping smoke. Away, quickly I planned selling house, recovering stolen money. Building Zoe safe place, she stared quietly. Ashes, it's gone, she whispered. I know, I answered softly. We'll find better. One later, checking bank balance, funds, restored completely, everything settled. Finished, I closed laptop gently. Merry Christmas, Zoe. She smiled warmly. Smoke smell disappeared. First time years silence finally felt peaceful.